Hi everyone, how are you doing today? I hope you are having a great weekend wherever you are. I just want to share something with us. A very educative piece I saw, an interview of Dr. Cosmos Maduka by the BBC, and there's just a lot there, and I just want us to talk about it. So, who is Dr. Cosmos Maduka? Dr. Cosmos Maduka is an Igbo businessman, a billionaire in dollars, and is into automobile, petrochemical, and the rest. And also, he's a big philanthropist. And when we were in the uni, I remember there were buildings in his name, the law faculty in the University of Nigeria, and a whole lot of stuff that he's done. So he's not a new person in the scene. He's not a new. He's a big dog, an old dog, in the system. So I saw that particular interview, and it was quite educative. So I want us to analyze this piece together. Now, I just want to say that in as much as there's a lot to learn from him, life is not absolute. So there may be few exceptions, but when you look at a couple of things, you can tell the basic principles of life that work. Okay, so I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but you're gonna learn a lot from this piece. So if you're ready, let's dive into it. So what I'm gonna do, because he actually spoke Igbo, mostly Igbo. So after I'm gonna play the clip, then I'm gonna explain. Okay, for those who didn't understand Igbo, and then I'll make my point. Okay, what I learned from it, and I think he's going to educate a lot of people. So if you're ready, let's get going.
Afanwo Cosmos Maduka esi na Anambra State na Umudin kwa na Nnewi Local Government Nnewi. Afọ agwụgịta ọwụla afọ ise nwunye m hapụrụ m. Anam sure ọtụtụ ndị mmadụ ka ya da wonder ebe ka nwoke a na-eje nwaanyị n'ọnụ ahụ nwaanyị ọ na-eche na nwunye ejere vacation nọ ya nata echi niile kedu ife ọ na-eme. Anụrụ nwaanyị ka ndị 19 years and 9 months ama atọ ọnụ 20 years na December 24, 1978 where dear my wife on 23rd of September.
So they got married at the age of 19. Now, so what's the lesson that we can learn? There is nothing as good as starting very early. Okay, starting early is always good. Like I said, it's not an absolute law, but the earlier you start, the better. Most of the people who've gone ahead to achieve greater minded things actually started early. Lots of people in different walks of life actually started late, but majority started early. So what does this tell you? Don't waste your prime. Don't waste your prime on frivolities. Don't waste your prime just jumping around. Have a plan. So for a parent, make sure you start your kids off very early. Then you as an individual, make sure you start early. You can see the earlier the better. The earlier you start, so you're not under pressure, you take your time and make sure you make the right decisions. Alright? Because you're gonna learn a lot of lessons, and in life there are gonna be ups and downs, failures and successes. That the earlier you start, the more you can learn from the mistakes. Have enough motivation to go again. Okay, so that's the reason why it's important to start early. All right, so the first lesson here is that he started early. At 19 years, he was already going to get married to someone he felt was the right person for him. Okay, so that's the first lesson. So let's continue with the clip.
Amatono 20 years na December 24, 1978 where dear my wife on 23rd of September. I met him for the first time in church. I didn't have anything in my pocket when I saw her, but once I clicked her, I said this woman will make a great wife. My pocket was empty, but my faith was full.
Very important. This is very important. Who was he? He was just a regular person, not having any money. Just a 19-year-old boy who had a dream. Okay, but you see, this is where lots of us make mistakes, especially the ladies. One of the most ridiculous shows I've ever seen in my whole life is a dating show, a horn game show that's been trending in Nigeria lately. I don't want to be specific, so I don't want to ruin the brand, but I'm not saying that the brand is bad, but I'm saying the kinds of things I hear from the ladies. The very first day I watched that show, I was like, no, this can't be real. This has to be doctor. This has to be This has to be scripted. I saw ladies talking about, oh my goodness, you need to watch that show. I was literally shocked at the preferences the ladies had. They wanted someone with tattoo, someone who looked bad, who looked freaky, someone who, and they see a decent guy who is well dressed, corporate, and they say no, he's too serious. And these are the kinds of preferences the young ladies have, and it's crazy. That's why we're making mistakes. That's why they are staying too long. That's why once any guy makes the money, everyone wants the man. But they are decent men. They may not have all the money, but they have a future, just like Cosmos. My challenge today to the young men is don't allow anyone to pressure you. Once you know what you're doing, believe in the process, build in the process. And for the young ladies, there are lots of young men around you. The problem is that you're not looking for them. You're looking for those ones who already made, the ones who will take you on vacation, will take you to Caribbean, Zanzibar, take you to Santorino, and the rest of it. He didn't have it, but today is one of the richest men in Nigeria. So you guys should learn from this. All right, let's go to the next clip.
I met him for the first time in a church. I didn't have anything in my pocket when I saw her, but once I clicked at her, I said, this woman will make a great wife.
Now, this part is one of my favorites. The reason it's part of one of my favorite is that it deals with something I learned very late in life. Okay? It deals with something that is very pivotal to any man who is going to survive and succeed. Not just man or woman, any human being at all. I remember sometime when I was reading a book written by Steven Spielberg, the entertainer, the American entertainer, and he said something. They asked him a question: if you're going to give your kids one gift, just one gift, what are you going to give them? He said, I'm going to give them the gift of being able to perceive their innermost instincts. I'm going to ask them to master being led from within. Okay. There are different levels of instruction and direction. Remember, in life, you're going to be making decisions, plenty of decisions, and the quality of your decisions determine the quality of your life, irrespective of your environment. Okay? Now, what it means is that you need to find a formula that helps you make the right decisions. And there are different levels of decision making. So you can be lured from outside. People can tell you what to do. Your mother, your father, your pastor, your prophet, your prophetess, your imam, your friends. That is a very rudimentary level of direction. It's important. It's a form of direction, but it's very rudimentary. It's at the basic level of direction. Then there is the direction that comes from knowledge. The body of knowledge you have, which is a higher level, it's a more logical way of processing things and coming up with more empirical decisions. So you can read up things and you say, okay, I know this principle, I can apply this and I can apply this. It's more objective and oftentimes even of better benefit than the first level of direction I talked about. The third direction, which I find pristine, which I find most exciting, which I find most productive, is being led from within. Now, why am I talking about this? Listen to Dr. Cosmos Maduka. He said the moment he saw her, he knew that this lady would be a good wife. He may not have said it, but that's what you can call extrasensory perception. Your ability to perceive things from within you. I discovered that this equipment is one of the most important equipments any human being can have in life. Learning to be directed from within you. Why is this very important? That's why I'm going to spend some time here. Why is it very important? Life's success pathway is very unique. It's very personalized. Like I said earlier on, what worked for you may not work for me. In as much as there is the general body of knowledge, of wisdom, of information, of principles that can guarantee most probable success in life. Okay. However, every individual has their individual pathway, and that's where you need to decode your own personal direction. That's where listening in words comes. So what worked for this person may not work for this person. And remember, we live life per second. at each second, you cannot tell exactly the principle to use. That is where your innermost being speaks up and directs you. And you see, this is what Cosmos Maduka experienced there. The moment he saw the lady, there was that ministration, that was that speaking from within him, that this woman is going to be a very good woman. This woman is going to be a successful woman. This one is going to complement you so well. And this is where many people fail it. Many people have lived their lives walking from outside, what people tell them, what their parents tell them, what their friends tell them, what their pastors tell them, what the noise in society tells them, what trends tell them. So everyone is tattooing, they are tattooing. Everyone is doing BBL, they are doing BBL. Everyone is sagging, they are sagging. Everyone is taking along beaters, they are taking along beaters. Everybody is dancing a particular dance step, they are dancing. That is the most basic, rudimentary level of direction. If you don't master the act of listening within you, hearing your instincts, hearing the speakings of your unique spirit, in the church we call it the Holy Ghost. In Igbo we call it Chi, your Chi. All of these things speak about your unique information system that is right inside of you. And that's why I'm spending some time on this particular one. If you can master this, you'll find out that you will cut down your mistakes by more than 70-80%, and your life will begin to move faster.
Very smart, intelligent young lady. She's very bold and confident, but when she smiles, her eyes glitter. That is a foster nanya.
Now this is going to interest you, okay? This is going to interest you and interests me a lot. So he talks about the qualities of the wife: bold, smart, intelligent, creative mind. And I didn't hear him talk about nyash. I didn't hear him talk about boobs. I didn't hear him talk about, all the crazy things, face card and the rest of it. Now, like I said, these things are personal, okay? But you can learn a lot about life from things like this. My opinion is all you need is attraction, okay? All you need is to be attracted to the person. He didn't talk about nyash, This is one of the things I find ridiculous, that we live in a generation where it seems as if everything is about nyash. I feel you need to get someone that you're sexually attracted to, okay? But the overemphasis on frivolities are not very important. The wife was smart, she was bold, she was creative, and that was good enough for him. So that's a lesson for the young men. Okay. So let's continue.
So when I spoke to her, I told her, will she accept to give me her right hand in marriage? She didn't ask me where's my BMW or where's my car. She just asked me, so where are you taking me to? I use this to teach young ladies. So when she asked me that, I said by 20 we will get married. By 21 we'll have a first son. I shared those visions with her. She held my left hand and said we will do it together. And she lived to see the things I told her, because I bought my first car 2 years after I married her, and by 24 I made my first 2 million United States dollar.
Okay, so instead of asking the man if he was wealthy, if he was rich, if he was ready to spend 720 million during the wedding, if he can put you on salary of 1 million every month, she asked him what was his plan for the future. And he had a future also. So men, you need to get yourself a future, get yourself a vision, get yourself a plan. Not just a plan, but work towards it.
I will desire most before happen. Okamono mum wulenyin. Oge Anna Moha was oge none my prime youth, struggling to survive and to avert poverty. So I wasn't there for them. We didn't bond, with the exception of my last boy. My personal thinking or belief is that I'm making every effort. They're also making effort and we're beginning to understand each other more and more.
All right, so let's look at something else he said. Very, very important. He talked about the fact that he wasn't at home to bond with his kids. He was not there for them, while they were growing up. There are lessons for the ladies. Let me start from the ladies first. You see, I observed that most of the ladies in this generation, and even before them, everybody's thinking about that Cinderella kind of scenario where you carry them, you pet them, you put them on the bed, you help them bring their sleepers, you give them breakfast in bed, you literally act some movie scenes. What they see in the movies, they want to experience in real life, okay? But I discovered one thing. If you're looking for a Cinderella kind of relationship, are you actually a Cinderella? I observed that most ladies want to be treated like ladies. They will tell you, I'm a lady, treat me like lady. No. Are you a lady or are you in the streets? It's time men begin to ask these pertinent questions, and I believe that we men, we should change ourselves. We are not having definite standards and expectations from our ladies. Everybody wants to be treated like a lady. Are you really a lady? You're messing up on the social media, on the internet, in the streets, everywhere, and you want to be treated like a lady. If you want to be treated like a lady, be a lady, and not be and leave the streets. That's number one for the ladies. Second one I want ladies to understand is that there are a couple of things that you guys want that seem to be mutually exclusive, especially at a particular time. The lady wants you to be very rich. You go on vacation, you live in a good house, you buy her a car, her kids will be in the best schools, access the best health care. At the same time, she wants you to be there. The question is, how does he make that money if he's always there? We need to balance this. You can see, even in the case of Cosmos, in his pursuit of finances, he had to sacrifice his time with his wife, not just his kids, but also his wife. But do I advocate that men shouldn't stay at home? No. But there's a phase in a man's life he has to pursue aggressively his dreams, because most wealthy, prospective, and very serious-minded guys will always be outside pursuing their dreams and not you. Now, for the men, you can see right now Cosmos is intentionally building that bond. Now he's made the money, he's built a contact, he's built an empire, he's intentionally building that bond with the kids, and from what he said, he's actually working. Men, in as much as we tend to pursue wealth and try to break out of the endemic poverty that we see in most of the African countries, as it were, because of bad leadership, please make out time for your kids also. Alright, so this is where we wrap the show. Alright, see you some other time and have a great time. Bye.